Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Nuke overview. I'm going to be using the face cam for this, and we're going to be going over what's new in Nuke and what strategies and what you can do for taking Nuke and defending Nuke. So first off, the T-spawn has been halved from reaching the first doorway, or the fence. You used to have to spawn all the way in the back of this parking lot and walk double this distance that you have to now. Now it's been shortened. They got rid of the boost spot and replaced it with a ladder for a smoother movement. I personally like this change, but like Adren said, he doesn't like this little cage here. I played Nuke around 5 times. I'm going to go through my experience too. So this pipe, this jump, is way easier than it used to be. You used to have to jump on a diagonal pipe. And I personally like this change because it gives the terrorist just more control. A lot of more pro players might say they don't like it, but it shouldn't be accessible to only the exclusive people who can be hop and only do it in 128 tick, like to get as like a smooth movement, you know? So I like that this is easier to push up on to Marshmallow. The terrorists have an expansion towards Cat, and the expansion towards Cat leads all the way to the counter-terrorist heaven. And the counter-terrorist heaven has this one side of rafters. The terrorists do not have access to these rafters, the counter-terrorists do not have access to these rafters. So that means the counter-terrorist can only defend this part of the site, the left part of the site, which enables the terrorists to push through Mini, smoke site, and just plant and hold sharp angles like this. It just enables the terrorist more control of excuse me. For A site, they got rid of the second vent and made it so that you have to go through the right side vent and kind of make an L shape to the vent to B site. So for B site, what's changed is that the toxic room was moved from the right side wall to the second dark area. I feel like this change is really good because it makes it so that defending is not so tedious. Now that there's a window, all I need to do is throw a Molotov or throw a nade to clear it. So I feel like toxic has been degraded greatly as a room for defending the B site. For the observation room, nothing really changed. Everything's pretty much the same. This hasn't changed. This has always been here. But no one really plays this angle because it's like gambling that the terrorists go secret and you don't have enough time to get to here. So from vent, you could either go to the B site or you could go to the contamination room. This is called the contamination room. And it's just another entrance to the B site. I personally like this change because it allows you to do a B split and just take some control as a terrorist player. So for ramp, nothing really changed here other than turning these nuclear bottles into crates, which allows smoother movement as you exit from the trophy room, the new trophy room. I think this used to be called lockers or radio. And if you're a terrorist, you'll peek ramp. You'll peek the second ramp, you'll peek hell, and then you'll peek smoothly. You don't need to peek sharp like this. If you have to peek sharp like this, then you're exposed to this angle. So they made that movement flow more. So if you're a T player and you want to push onto Cat, you have a lot of options. So you get to push onto this crate. A lot of players don't know that you could boost onto this new spot and jump on top of garage. I like how they make it so that you have to jump. So the counter-terrorists know you're up there. It's a vantage point, but you have to jump up there. I like this addition, but I just feel like it's better in a clutch situation. That's the reason why I like this, because I love clutching. Clutching is like one of my specialties in playing CSGO. It's one of my favorite things to do. So for strategies, we're going to go over the counter-terrorist side first. So for counter-terrorists, the outside is an extremely important vantage point because the terrorists have such easy access to your heaven. They have such easy access to your mini. They have such easy access to your secret. They can practically go A site, B site, and take control of the entire map just by controlling mid. So what you need now is at least 2 CT players playing outside. So for Big Garage, you usually want to play an op right here, watching this angle from T-spawn, and try to get a pick, and then play red if they start to push you, and then fall back even more, watch for secret, fall back even more, watch for cat, and your other player could possibly play right here for the cat push, because likely this one tiny little change, the connection from heaven to marshmallow, is extraordinarily really overused, and it's going to be the thing that the terrorists will use to take advantage of this map, because you used to have to do a strafe jump that was extraordinarily hard to do in Nuke, but now they just made it so you can just walk. Someone said that they should make it so they have to jump to get to one part to the other, so they have to make noise and you have to know if they're up there. I think that's a pretty good change, but playing from spawn is a vantage point. This might be a new spot. You play with a scout and watch cat, so your Big Garage player is not pressured as much. So as a CT player, if they start to push you and they're outside, your heaven player can play on cat like this to watch the secret push, because if the terrorists just do this smoke, you get to watch them cross right on top of it. But the terrorists, if they do a hard secret push, you get zero information. So if you're in heaven and you know they're outside, you should be playing this angle. And if they start to smoke for secret, you should help your ramp player to help for B. Now for the inside of A. So you should have 2 outside players and around like 2 A players. One being heaven and one being playing for hut, essentially. So for the hut player, he should be playing like this. This is just because of the peeking angle that this mini player has. If he peeks, he's going to be peeking squeaky first and hut next. If you are ducked like this, you could do the headshot glitch and you just pop heads, easy kills. But I recommend using the M4A1S. This is when you could swap between the A4 and the A1. Just situationally, it's better. Personally, I think the A1S is better in this position, because if they just hear these pew pew noises, they're going to think it's on A site. But as more and more people start to play, this hut position is so good, because if they push from outside and to mini, you get the frag. If they push from squeaky, you could just Molotov it off and tell your heaven player to help you out while you hold site and he holds heaven. So great. The hut player just has so much flexibility. I don't recommend playing up on here, because if there's a player that pushes from lobby and he does this sort of Molotov peek you kind of thing, you're dead. So he could just push back, play cover from heaven using this box, and kill you if you're on bridge. I just feel like the bridge is way too open. You're just exposed from 360 angles. 180 here and 180 here. And if you're peeking one side, you're dead from the other side. So the bridge is only really good is if you have your heaven player watching your hut for you. So playing right here on heaven, or like in the corner. There's a big difference between playing here and playing here. Plus, for our hut, you need to watch out for this op angle, because a terrorist player will likely crouch, peek your heaven like this. Is a new angle for killing people. So now you have 2 people outside and you have 2 people inside for A. You have the ramp player now. The ramp player could play right here. But if you want to switch it up for some rounds, you can actually boost someone up to these crates to hold this angle. That takes a lot of time, but if you want to do that execute, I recommend doing a smoke, Molotov, fail, and a nades, and then boost. And then once he's boosted up, you play on this crate and he plays on top of there, and you have a nice crossfire, which is great. Also, for ramp, you could play really aggressive, where you do the very far back smoke that goes into lockers, and you play on the edge of this orange box to watch this smoke. If they start to push, then you fall back. You're the first one that sees them, because when they push smoke, then they can't see you. You could also do a CLG play where you just don't face and wait for a flashbang. That's if you know they're going to do a flashbang 100%. And once you see the flash, you aim. But if they push you and you're getting overwhelmed, you call that they're coming to your ramp and they're going B. And here's where it gets interesting. You need to know where to go as a ramp player if they're pushing you from ramp. So the contamination room is good for second round if you've won, because you have an ump and they probably have tech 9s, and you just play this corner, you jiggle peek them. They likely won't have any Molotovs. If you know they don't have Molotovs, if you know they don't have frag grenades, and that you wasted their utility outside, then playing Toxic is fine. If you play Dark, I don't really recommend this, because it's basically a heads and tails coin flip, because it's either they check it or they don't. You're exposed if they push vent, you're exposed if they check it, but if they don't check it, that's when you're golden, that's when you're good. So what I recommend if you're pushing back from ramp is to play into the observation room. The observation room, because you have this cover. It's a headshot kind of an angle. It's hard to hit you, and it's easy to play these sort of angles. Can you see into this doorway? No, you can't. Into ramp. So that's the only problem for playing observation, is that if they peek you from this angle wide, you have less time to react. So you should probably play in this corner and play for that door for ramp push. And if they push you there, you can start to play in vent. You could go into the decontamination room to try to retake the site with a Molotov. All's good. They also have this glitch where it's probably going to get fixed. If you throw a flash grenade, you don't get blinded. So you could probably take advantage of this. But this is a bug. This is a bug. If you throw a flashbang on Nuke, you won't get blinded from here. But if you throw a flashbang from here, you do get blinded. Sucks for you. Even on the same level, you still get blinded. Sorry for the eyes, yeah, kind of thing. So right now, that's how you would play CT side. You could play 2 outside, 2 inside, 1 ramp, or you could play 2 ramp, 2 outside, 1 A site, and retake A. There's a lot of things you can do. Just be flexible about it. So right now we're going to be talking about the terrorists. The terrorists have an extraordinarily huge amount of options just because their spawn has been moved up and cut in half so they could make it to this ladder faster. So the time it takes for terrorists to get right here, this spot, the CTs can be right here in average spawns. I've played this map a lot, and when I tried to push using the ladder from seat hell to here, there was always like a terrorist right here. On pistol round, don't do that, because on pistol round you want to play these far distances. A USPS gets a headshot from a far distance. A Glock, you want to push them, you want to get up close and in their face, so you get that one-shot headshot with a Glock. Glocks are 3 shots to headshot with armor, and 2 shots from a distance. So if you want to execute outside, it's recommended that you at least put 2 people going on the ground and at least 2 people on the marshmallow. This allows you to take these vantage points from the big garage. That's because in big garage, if he's holding with an op right here, he can't see you when you're on marshmallow. So using that knowledge, what you can do is to jump on this red crate. If you know they're not over there, jump on top garage and literally just P90 spray this guy, or just do like a flashbang kind of thing.
Throwing flashbang.
So it blinds him, you peek, he's dead. So good, so good. It's amazing. I just feel like this gives the terrorists so much advantage over outdoors, and outdoors is the heart and soul of Nuke. Outdoors is a thing, the one place that allows a terrorist to take advantage of the entire map. It allows them to take control of the entirety of A site, practically, because they have control of this heaven push, And this angle's kind of awkward to play because your entire body's exposed. You're just this scrunched up ball. And if they push you for 2 players, you're easily just dead. If there's 2 players that push many at the same time, you're instantly dead. That's why I recommend playing this corner. But there's a disadvantage because your hut player will probably be playing up here because you deny the mini push with this. That's when synergy comes in for Heaven and the ramp push. You could also do this kind of thing first counter terrace. That's what Tarek used to do on Nuke. He mollies out hut, he smokes it, and holds a mag 7 up close. If they start to push you from the squeak door, as a counter terrace, you can jump on these crates and you kill them like this. It's a hard angle to play, and then you could just play this angle. They can't see your head, and you just frag them. So back to being a terrorist. Being a terrorist, you have all these crates to play these different angles. I think you can even boost up onto this red crate to overwhelm the big garage player. If your teammates know the big garage smoke, you could just do something simple as that. In this smoke, it's amazing. Just watch out. If you do this smoke, this angle, playing the ventilation, playing the vent, is a really big vantage point. You just jiggle peek. You just gotta be careful of this one spot. This spot's gonna become stronger in Nuke play as Valve just adds it to the active duty pool. So if you want to push Squeaky Secret hard with your teammates, you usually just want to do the wall of smokes. It can be thrown like this, one like that, and just one up close. And you push Secret through the wall of smokes. Secret was the way for terrorists to gain control of B a lot in the old Nuke. It's a thing that made the terrorists so good. Well, the only thing that made terrorists good. I like how you could use this angle on this ramp to peek into the awesome little big garage. I just feel like the big garage player is just screwed when he's playing this. He's just so screwed because if he's caught with his pants down. If the player does not get the guys on cat right here, he's dead. Alright, so now we're going to go on towards the B site and executing the ramp. So for executing ramp, it's the cookie cutter bread and butter kind of thing. You're always vulnerable to that opper that plays in the back area. What you can do is use this to flashbang out. It pops. It actually does not blind him at all. So that's for blinding hell. But for this, you probably want to do a flashbang like that. Or kind of like bank it in the ground so there's more time for it to pop and blind this guy. All you want to do is kind of smoke this off. That angle is so annoying to play against as a T-side player if you're playing radio. So what I recommend you do is you play back and you kind of throw smoke. And once you get that smoke down, you peek hell and you just squish the ramp player. If you're the ramp player and you see that smoke down, what you want to do is Molotov. It guarantees at least like 100 damage. At least 100 damage on the T players. 25 each. Or 20 each, actually. So, as you push ramp, what you want to do is instantly just keep pushing. Because you know the counter-terrorists on A, they're going to be pushing into vent. And they're going to be either going this way to the observation room, or they're going to be peeking vent like this to stop your ramp push. They take so much time, so the T's have such an advantage on this map on B side. So I feel like the terrorists have the advantage on B side. It's T-sided. The only thing I don't like, we're going to go on to the A side now, is I feel like the A side's T-sided too. Here's why. Because you get rid of this second heaven, right? And that means this entire half is like nullified for CT control. If they push through mini, you're screwed. Because the terrorists have this control in heaven. They get to flank. They don't even need to make any noise because they don't even need to jump. They can just walk, flank, take the heaven, take the bottom part of the site, and it's T-sided. Everything is just T-sided about A side. Plus, if you can plant on top of these warheads, it's just ridiculous. because it's so easy to defend. You're just literally a chicken, like in like this mowed down grassland. You're naked. You're just like a guy naked in a driveway. Like, it just doesn't fit. You can't defend that. I don't even see like smoking and then defusing, because it's so easy to spam. There's so little space for you to move. All you need to do is line up right here and just spam. It's an easy kill. You do it vertically. And if you execute as a terrorist player, usually you won't want to play out here and push out this way. You usually want to do this Molotov on hut to clear that one spot, because this is so good. This spot's so good, you guys, because the mini, you just deny outside to A. You just deny everything outside to A. And then all you need to do is worry about the heaven. Just worry about the heaven, you're great. You're golden. So, it's a smooth movement to jump outside this window and then just take control through this way. It's smooth movement to literally just push Squeaky into the vent and then push B and split it by going one contamination and some going observation room. It's just so flexible for the terrorists. The terrorists they're just literally Foon, but without B hops. You can be Foon as a terrorist player because you have so much mobility, and the only way I feel like the terrorists lose is if they have bad game sense and they have bad aim. If you have good aim and you're just an average player, Nuke is easy as a terrorist player. It's just like not CT sided anymore. It's just T sided Nuke. Like 70-30, I feel like. Because this map control that the terrorists have is a lot. It's just too much, I feel like. Because essentially, okay, outside. Is he outside T-sided or CT-sided? Well, since they have easy flow to movement to the other side of cat, it's T-sided. Alright, let's talk about executing A-site. Is it T-sided or is it CT-sided? Well, judging that the terrorists can play slow and flank heaven, the terrorists can push into mini, and the CTs can do nothing about it from heaven, and they have to play this kind of risky, really vantage point angle, it's T-sided. It's like 60-40 T-sided. That's if they don't send someone heaven. If they don't send someone heaven, it's CT-sided. There must be a T player that flanks this heaven player, or takes control of heaven. So the terrorists just take it. It's like 70-30 for a terrorist. Terrorists have a 70% advantage if they get control of heaven. It's ridiculous. Alright, so A site is kind of T-sided. For ramp, this is the only place I think is CT-sided. Literally the only place. If you play hardcore ramp, you have an op here, you force them to use their utility on you. Plus, you get to hold from hell. This vantage point is really good. So, ramp, CT-sided. Maybe you want to play 2 there if you don't want to play 2 outside. I don't recommend it. It's CT-sided. So, if you play outside and you play for hardcore heaven defense, this part, this entire half is CT-sided if you play a guy here. If you play a guy here by the ventilation and you use an op, so easy to get these frags. They're not going to be peeking you right here, but because they have to peek this angle, they have to peek this angle, they need to peek the blue bin. Like, there's so much the T's need to check. So I feel like this half and the lockers area is CT-sided. So the lockers and the ramp area are CT-sided. Alright, let's look at the B site. Well, the B site I feel like is T-sided, just because of the control the terrorists have of outdoors. Outdoors literally gives the terrorists control to ramp. It literally gives them the control to this contamination room and the observation room and the vent. The terrorists just have complete control. It's like kind of 60-40. So it's not as hardcore, but I feel like the B site, if they get control of it, is 60-40 for terrorists. It's just ridiculous. In the current state of Nuke right now, I feel like the terrorists just have too much movement options. They just have way too many options. And the counter-terrorists, I just feel like their options are so deterred. Like, their options are kind of weak unless you're playing as a team, an actual team. If you're playing matchmaking and these people don't know the vantage points as a CT player, you lose. So we're just going to go over the spots that are really strong as a CT player. So big garage right here, really good, really damn good. A CT player, lockers, average, okay, it's fine. This box is just annoying. It shouldn't be here. It just doesn't fit. I feel like you take too much power. I just feel like people said, "Oh my God, Nuke is too CT-sided," and then Valve's like, "All right, let's just make it completely C-sided." Okay. And then Fnatic is just going to just like plow everybody. Okay, a good spot right here for heaven. Good spot right here for heaven. Good spot. Average. This is average because of this op spot. If you play sharper, then you kind of have less power over the squeak door, but you have control of mini and hut. So that's when you play sharp on this angle. This spot, godlike. It's the best spot on A site, I feel like, because it just denies so many things the terrorists can do. If they push out here, you just drop down and max heaven. Just flick up. Alright. Playing right here, it's semi-decent. It's not really that good. It's like, if you don't get the kill, you kind of die. But if the terrorists are going to rush into vent, it's actually really good to play the second round, because they're probably going to be pushing with Tech 9s or SMGs into B through lobby. So this is a decent spot. It gives you control of hut, squeaky, and mini, but you just need to rely on your other teammate to help you. That's why in matchmaking, if you don't have a guy top hut, you're screwed. Take the words from me. You're screwed if you don't play a guy top hut. Playing ramp. This spot is godlike. It's one of the best spots you can play on ramp. Playing this spot with a second teammate, or to play for retakes on A. It's a good spot. It denies radio control if you get shot at. It's decent. It's good. It's above average. Toxic. Bad spot. Horrible. Terrible. Only play the spot. It's very situational if you know they don't have the nades to clear it out. They don't even need to push you. And as a player, you want them to push you so you could take that aim battle and win. Playing beyond the warhead. Horrible. They push you from the contamination room. You're headshotted. And you're squeezed. You're sandwiched. It's a horrible spot. Don't ever play that spot as a counter-terrorist for defending. Unless you're doing a clutch situation. That's the only times you can play these unorthodox spots in deplete. So, observation room. It's good. It's decent. It holds for ramp. You just need to make sure that your outside guys have control of outdoors. If they don't have control of outdoors, or if you get flanked, you have bad teammates. Don't play here if your teammates have bad communication. You want to play this sharper angle then, if you know your teammates are bad at communicating. So that's essentially it for Nuke. My verdict on the nuclear facility is that it's way too T-sided. And if the terrorists are a team, it's like they will almost always win. I just feel like, just due to the conditions, when you get the smokes down and you learn all these smokes, you don't even need to learn these. You can just make these up on the go. Once you just have players that use smokes, use flash grenades, you'll win a lot as terrorists. It's like a 12-3 kind of thing. You will only die from counter-terrorists stacking a site, or counter-terrorists pushing or aim battling and winning over you. Just everything is a vantage point for terrorists. What I think they should do, that Valve should do, is make it so that maybe you need to do a jump to cross this area, so that as you cross, like you have to get exposed to that angle and you can't aim him down. I feel like outdoors shouldn't be that T-sided, because outdoors right now it's a B advantage and it's an A advantage. You want to make it so that's only a B advantage. If they're going outside, they're likely going B. If they're going inside, they're likely going A or B if they go to vent. So I just feel like outdoors should be just less T-sided overall. They should do something about this. I just feel like this catwalk is just too much of an advantage for terrace-side players. For the inside, I think everything's fine. I really like how they made these angles so that this is advantageous for CT players and then this is disadvantageous for CT players. They made it so that the kind of edges are extended. So I like that from Valve. Thank you folks for watching. I hope you guys learned something about Nuke and how to play Nuke. And see you folks in another video. If you want to see more videos from me, please like, comment, rate, or subscribe. That actually helps me out a lot. And see you folks later in another video. Peace.